everyone! Hi! Thank you for stopping by and for hanging out with me today. You're gonna hear my little kitty cat Sandy in the background right now. She's meowing up a storm because she wants attention and she's not getting it, so hey, whatever. I'm looking forward to doing this video, yet at the same time I'm a little nervous because this is just like the last video I did with the bronzers. Today I'm going to be showing you my entire blush collection and giving you some thoughts and potentially decluttering some things and just, yeah, going through everything. And here it is. I had to make some funny faces because this is kind of scary. But I am excited because once I go through this and I have things more organized, I feel as though this drawer, which I don't even want to show you, it's so embarrassing because all my highlighters, face palettes, bronzers, contour products, cream blushes, cream highlighters, regular highlighters, that whole drawer just exploded and there's no rhyme or reason to it anymore. I used to have everything so neatly organized into little, containers, and that's just not the case. So hopefully, cross my fingers, that will be the result of this series. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Em. I am a hoarder, and you're watching Makeupry. And if this is your first time here, please be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to come back and hang out again sometime soon. I do have a goal this year to reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you like what you see today, please be sure to click that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up or like on this video so that YouTube knows to continue to share my videos with the world. That really helps me out and I really appreciate it. So onward with this video. Can I just procrastinate just a little bit more? Just a little bit more? No? Okay. So, yeah, I'm just kind of gonna show you my entire blush collection. No big deal. In no particular order, this is a cheek stain from City Color. This one is called Coral. That is the shade. It's actually really pretty. I haven't worn this in a really long time. This is not good anymore. Look at those bubbles on the side. So, ew. I think it's safe to say it's time to declutter this baby. No gratifying snap. That was not what I thought it would be. Next one up is this Tokyo Milk Cheek Stain Cream. This one I don't think I've even ever used. No, I haven't. This one's a really nice shade. I think it's the first time ever swatching this. That's really pretty. I don't even know how long I've had this, but it's never been used or opened for that matter. And I'm starting to get into cheek stains, so I'm going to keep this and try it out. So far it looks like a really nice shade, so I'll hold on to that. Next is this Maybelline Dream Bouncy Blush in Candy Coral. It actually still has that same kind of bouncy texture. I actually used this recently. It still works and it still feels really nice on the skin. It gives a really nice subtle color to the cheeks, which I really like. This used to be my favorite blush, I'm not gonna lie, because it was just a beautiful coral color. Corals and me go together like, yes. I know how old it is, I really do, and I've used it recently and it still works. Usually I don't keep creamy kinds of products this long, but it doesn't smell bad, it doesn't, have any issues, so I'm keeping that. I don't even think they make these anymore. If they did, then I would just toss this out and buy a new one, but, if you find something and you like it and they don't make it anymore, you try to, hold on to it as long as you can, which I've done with this. Yeah, this is my ride or die most beloved blush for a really long time. I have a highlighter palette in with my blushes. Told you there's no rhyme or reason, so put that back in the drawer. Alright, next is this Auto Balm Girl Powder Cheeks on the Go from The Balm. I recently got this in an Ipsy Plus subscription box. I really love the container, however it is really hard to open. I have to dig my fingernails in under the lid and kind of use my thumb on the edge here just to pull it, which I don't like. And if you are someone who has really long nails, like artificial nails, and or you have dexterity problems, this would not be a palette that you would like. Other than that little issue, I really like the color selection that the Balm offers with this quad palette. Okay, so there's Houston Street, Bourbon Street, Bleecker Street, and Fifth Avenue, and there are 3 mattes and 1 shimmering blush. So the color selection is really nice. For someone who has light to medium skin, this is not a palette for anyone with deep skin tones because you'll look ashy, but I like it. My favorite one is the Coral. You might have been able to tell. I like my Coral blushes. Next is this Temp 2 Pro Airbrush Blush in Peony. I haven't used this in forever. I know you're supposed to use it with the air compressor, but I don't. I haven't used this in a while, as I said, but what I like to do with it is I like to take it out and squeeze one on each finger, just like so, and it's such a pretty bright spring pink color. What I'll do is just kind of do this motion and just tap it on my cheeks, and it's just a soft flush pink tone once you do it that way. It just looks really nice and natural on the skin. You shake it up really well. I love doing this. This is the most gratifying ASMR kind of thing ever. Yeah, do you get an ASMR reaction out of that? I do. I actually want to buy more of these because of how much I like it, but I need to use it. Okay, next is this Josie Marin Coconut Watercolor Cheek Gelée in Poppy Paradise. I haven't used this in so long, and I think the reason why is because it is a deluxe sample and it comes in such a small jar that I can't even really like fit my finger in, and heaven forbid if I ever had long nails, my nails would prevent, like I can't even get my finger in there. So you have to use a brush, which I don't think is the point of these. I think you're supposed to be able to use your fingers. So I think that's why I don't grab for this, but I do recall really liking it. I'll just take a brush. This is not the right kind of brush for it, but whatever. See, that bright pink shade is what it looks like. That's actually really pretty, isn't it? So I think what I'll try doing next is just using it with a sponge. We'll see on that. But for now, I'll keep it because I do like it. I do feel as though it's similar to the Benefit Benetint. Back in the day when I was on a Benefit PR list, which was short-lived by the way because hello, I'm not a mega influencer, I got a ton of these like Benetint sampler things, and they gave me a ton of them to give out to my girlfriends. So what I liked about Benetint is that you could use it for your lips or your cheeks to give it a nice little flush. See, aren't these the cutest little packages? I haven't used these in forever. I think what I'm going to do is give the ones away that are still in their shrink wrap. Those are being given away. Then these ones are almost empty, so I think I'm just going to do like a project pan with these and use them up because you can see there's barely anything left in there. I really do like these. I think these are beautiful. If I didn't put on a lipstick a little while ago, I would have put these on right now because they are really pretty. And I would like to show you what they look like. Here's another one in the shrink wrap. So yeah, I'm going to continue to just try to use those up. I bought this from Sephora. It's very similar to the Benetint. It comes in a squeeze tube with the doe foot applicator. And I bought this to see if it was a dupe for the Benetint, and it pretty much is, only it's a little bit deeper and more violet based. So it's not quite the same, but it is similar. The main difference between them is that the Benetint is very liquidy, whereas the Sephora one is more gel-like. The liquid I feel like is easier to blend than the gel, so if you have a foundation that you've set, you don't want to use a gel with it. But the liquid is easier to blend. But you can definitely tell that the Sephora one, which is here, is a little bit deeper than the Benetint one. Honestly, I do not know if Sephora still makes this. I'm going to hold on to it and see if I actually use it up. Got a little fluff ball on my nose. On that same note is the Posy Tint from Benefit. And it's also a little tiny sampler. This I used a lot, but it looks like it's almost out. Yeah, it's out. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. This one I do really like. It is a soft pink shade. This one right here. It's also really soft and pretty. I liked it, but it's really hard to get a lot of product to pay off with, you know, something this small. Oh, so this one I'm definitely going to be throwing away. This is the Maybelline Dream Mousse Shadow, but I used it more as a blush. It's called Plum Paradise. I put this in my blush drawer because it's definitely not an eyeshadow for me. This was more of a blush tone, but it's cracked, it's gross. Goodbye, sayonara. I never really used it. I preferred their Dream Bouncy Blush mousse things versus their actual mousse jars. I don't think they make that, so it's not a big deal, but yeah, you can tell I definitely didn't use it very much. Next up is this Tarte Blush in Doll Face. This one is obviously not a full-size blush. Honestly, I don't like buying full sizes because I never get through this. I've had this for a while and I'm still not anywhere near hitting pan on this smaller size, but I use it quite frequently. And then I also have this one, which is called Party, and it's a more nude tone blush. This is the one I'm wearing today. Here's what those two blushes look like on my fingers. These are really nice shades. You can build them up, obviously. I love Tarte's blushes so much. They have such a beautiful texture. They work really nicely. I like that you can build them up. So they're definitely hands down some of my favorite blushes. This one here is from Sante. It's the Sun-Kissed Mineral Formula. Supposedly got SPF in it. I don't know how well that works. This I featured in a video where I was talking about products I got at Daiso, so if you're interested, go check that out. Can't remember if I liked this. This is super pigmented. It's on my middle finger here. This one is like super pigmented. It's really pretty, but holy smokes, you have to be really light-handed with this. I do like the color because I like peachy coral shades, and this one is like a really nice one for the summer. But because it's so pigmented, I don't really find myself grabbing for it as much as I should. So I think I'm going to try this out a little bit more because I haven't been reaching for it. But it's just one of those things that has been buried. Some of my other favorite blushes are from Benefit. This one I've had forever. It's old school, removable. This is Sugar Bomb. This one was also my ride or die blush for a long time. I love that you can swirl these colors together and just get this nice coral tone, or you can be more precise and get one of the individual shades there, but come on. The fun of it is just swirling it together. I remember a friend gave that to me for a holiday or Christmas or something, and I was just like, yes, I've been wanting to try them because they're so expensive. They're $30 for each blush. Another one I have is Hervana, which is a brighter, more poppy toned pink. I like the design of this one because it's so fun and swirly, and it's another one that you can just have fun with and swirling together. But I don't wear this one nearly as much as I've worn Sugar Bomb, but I still appreciate and love both of them, and because of how expensive they are, I'm not planning to get rid of them. I just need to use them more. I think once this drawer is a little bit more curated and organized, I'll have more fun digging through my blushes and having the ability to dig and actually use the things that I have not been using. By the way, I am drinking Limoncello LaCroix, and I have to say, if you like limoncello, that really sweet lemony flavor, it comes off really well in this LaCroix. In fact, it tastes like dessert in a drink, just so you know, because if you aren't already drinking it, you should. Okay, PSA over. Okay, this one is my baby, only because it was limited edition, and I am keeping this forever because the packaging is just so beautiful. Look at this beautiful. Yes, isn't that lovely? This is a MAC blush, and it was a collaboration with Prenza Schouler, I think that's how you pronounce their name. And the blush itself is this beautiful ombre. It is such a lovely coral tone. You see a theme here. I love coral blushes. This one is just one that I don't use as frequently because I know that once it's gone, it's gone. But I love this shade so much, and it's just, you know, MAC blushes are just so lovely in general. Actually, let's use the other hand. Look at that lovely tone. It's just a nice peachy coral, and it's lovely. And I try not to use it too much in videos. If I use it in like one of my color story videos, then it's not as big of a deal. But if I'm using it in a video where I actually, you know, talk more through the makeup I'm using, then I'm kind of like, I don't want to use it because I feel badly that nobody can buy it anymore. But hey, it's special to me. It's my baby. I'm gonna keep it. Another blush that I don't reach for very often, but I actually do really like it, is this one. If I could get it open, my goodness. This is called Sweet Cheeks, and it is a slightly satin shimmering pink shade, and it's from Be a Bombshell. I haven't heard much about this brand in a long time. Are they still around? I really do like their products, and I remember getting this in an Ipsy bag. Look how pretty that is. This is something that I would wear just on its own, no highlighter, because it's such a beautiful pink color. Like, it's the richest, prettiest pink. And I don't normally wear a lot of pink blushes, only because I have a lot of natural pink to my skin, and I try to cancel that out, so I don't like to put it back on my face necessarily. Plus, I think corals and peaches are more flattering to me, but this pink, it's just so pretty that I do wear that on occasion. It just has this nice glow. It's perfect for the winter time when you have dry, dull skin, because it just gives you some life to your face. That one I'm definitely going to be reaching for a little bit more as we go along. Next is this one. I think this is DLS. Yeah, Dirty Little Secret Cosmetics. They call this a baked highlighter, and it's called Prosecco, but please tell me, does that look like a highlighter to you? It certainly doesn't to me. In fact, that's why it's here. It is really light, so if you are a deeper skin tone, then this would definitely be more of a highlight for you. But because I am pale, this is not a highlight. This is a shimmering blush. This is very metallic, but it is really pretty. You see how much light it reflects, but it's just too dark for me to use as a highlighter. As a blush though, it does actually look really nice. It's something that I kind of layer over the top of other blushes because this on its own would just be too much shimmer. But this is something I have used a few times. I haven't used it enough to be able to say it's an amazing product or not. But this is another Ipsy bag edition. I don't hate it. I don't know if I love it. It is lovely though, and I'm going to continue to use it because I don't see why not. The next up is this eyeshadow from Essence. It's called Kalinka Beauty. I have this in my blush drawer because it is a peachy orange shade. This is just huge for an eyeshadow. I would never use enough of this shade for an eyeshadow to be able to justify it for that. So instead, it is a blush. It is definitely not a shade I wear every day. It's very orangey, very apricot-y, and it's not so intense that I'm going to have to use a light hand with it, but it's just a really nice shade for the summer months, for just brightening up the face, and it goes really well with bronzer, which is why I did that. I actually bought it for the sole purpose of using it as a blush because I thought it was such a unique, pretty color, and I haven't worn this in a while, but I actually am going to make a point to use this in a video so you guys can see how orange tones can actually look really pretty if you do them in the right kind of way, if that makes sense. But I really liked that. It's soft, it blends out nicely, and it's something that I highly recommend you doing. If you find an eyeshadow that you're absolutely in love with and you think it's going to be a beautiful blush, pick it up. Just don't even think about it. Just buy it, use it as a blush. Who cares, right? It's just makeup. Another Essence blush that I really like is this one. This one is also ombre. I bought this because it reminded me of my beloved MAC one, only it's deeper. It's definitely got more of a bright pink with an orange hue to it. This one is really nice, but it's also something that I feel I have to use a light hand with because it is so bright and poppy. I think this would be beautiful on all skin tones though, but for us lighter toned folks, light hand. Whereas if you have a deeper skin tone, this is something that you don't have to worry as much about because this would probably show up really well. But it is really pretty, and it's called Heat Wave, by the way, if you didn't know. I don't know if they still sell this, but I really like it. I have another Be a Bombshell blush here called Glowing Goddess. I haven't used this one in a while, but this one's also one of those shades that I really like. This is just a soft peachy pink shade. If it'll focus, there we go, this one here, and it has a sheen to it too, so it's a nice glowy blush. It's subtle, so you can build it up. I like this one. I haven't used it in a while, but I need to. This is also just one of those really pretty glow from within kinds of blushes that is a little bit more natural on the skin. I need to use that. I need to use it more often because it's very pretty. Okay, next up, this is from Ciate London. This is called Pinch Me. However, I don't know if this was intended to be a blush or a highlighter. It is slightly too dark for me to use as a highlighter, although I use it more as like a blush topper because it is so pretty. This is something I absolutely adore. See, it's on my middle. See, it's fairly light, but for me, it's just a smidge too dark for it to be a standalone highlighter. But it is such a beautiful pink shimmering shade. Like, look at that. I love these pearlescent kinds of highlighters. I think they are so flattering on the skin. I don't like those super glowy reflective highlighters for me personally. I feel like pearlescent highlighters do a better job, especially on textured skin, without drawing too much attention to textures and pores than, let's say, the high reflective ones. But I just love these blush toned highlighters that I use more for blush toppers, if that makes sense. I think I need to film a video where I show you how you can layer blushes. I don't know if that would be interesting, but if it is, then let me know in the comments below if you would like to see me do a video on blush layering and color selections and how and when to use shimmering or satin or metallic or whatever kinds of blushes. If that sounds interesting, then let me know. This one is also another liquid blush. This is similar to the Sephora one, only this comes in a roller ball and it's from Avon. This was gifted to me by a friend. I haven't used this. I don't know if I ever will, to be honest, because it is a very purpley tone. It's pretty. It just has a really weird smell. You know what? I'm just not gonna use this. It's just a weird concept to have it in a roller ball. Plus, look at that. It's very purple. I don't really like berry toned blushes on me because it can bring out the yellow in my skin, which makes me look sallow and just kind of jaundiced, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this and just call it good, because it's not something I will wear, and it's not something that I would necessarily wear on the lips either. Next up is the Seraphine Botanicals Guava Butter Lip and Cheek Stain. I love this one. I've used it many times. It's right here. It looks a little terracotta. Once you shear it out, it has more of a coral tone to it. And it can look really natural, at least on me, since I have a lot of pink and redness to my face anyway. But it does tend to like sheer out and look so pretty and more natural. See, look at that. I really enjoy this one. I haven't reached for it in a while because it keeps getting buried. And I think that cream blushes are just so lovely, and I don't know why I don't use them more. Following up on that, I'm kind of embarrassed about this. I went to Vegas and I was staying at Planet Hollywood, and there's like this big mall downstairs. I don't know if NYX is still there, but they did have a standalone store, and I was so excited to have a whole store dedicated to NYX products. So I went in there, and this was a brand new item that they came out with, I guess, at the time, and it's called the NYX Bright Idea Illuminating Stick, and you can tell it's like a really bold, deep peach and terracotta shade. Very orangey. I remember swatching this and just thinking how pretty it was and how perfect it would be with highlighter and bronzer, and it's still in shrink wrap. Will I ever use it though? That's the question. I don't want to take it out of the shrink wrap though, because if I decide not to use it, then I want it to be brand new for whoever I give it to. But at the same time, I do want to use it, so I don't know. I need to be intentional with using it, and now that we're going into fall, it's probably not something I will be using though. You know what? I'm going to use it. There, I said it. I'm going to use it. I am going to be intentional about using that. Next is this Be a Bombshell one stick called Flustered. This is kind of a cool concept. Oh yeah, this is one of the reasons I didn't reach for this very often. It is kind of waxy. I don't remember it being as waxy, so it might be that it's just old. It is really bright, and it's also got these little gold particles or glitters in there. It's very bright. You really have to like blend it, and it's still like really bold. And it's old enough that I think it's time to pass. I don't like the gold glitter in there. I think that might be why I didn't reach for it very often, because even when you wipe it off, you have glitter traces, and I'm just not into glitters on the face. Next is this Hikari blush called Tango. I really like Hikari's products, although I haven't really tried many of them. This is definitely a really bright pink, so it's not something I wear all the time. It's not something I grab for that often. Waften. It's this one here. Isn't that pretty though? It is a really nice shade. It's soft and it does blend out so you're not, you know, looking like a clown. You do want to use a light hand with it, but it does have a nice little sheen, so it gives you a little bit of glow. Whereas it does look matte in the pan, but it does have that nice little tiny sheen to it, which I enjoy. I think the quality is really nice. One of my most favorite eyeshadows ever is from Hikari, so I was excited about their blushes. This blush is from Model Co, and it's called Cosmopolitan. It's also another one of those soft pink shades, and it's nice. It's not something I grab for every day, but I like it if I want just a very subtle kind of pink color. This is something that would be really pretty on a bride, or if you're going to a special event, you need to have some color to your cheeks, but you also know that if you go overboard with the blush, you're gonna look like a clown. This is one of those really nice shades that shows up, but not in that overpowering, over pigmented kind of way. It's a nice soft pink. You're gonna laugh at me because this is really old. This is a Maybelline blush called Nude Flush. I used to wear this all the time, more so if I just needed kind of a slight topper, because it has a sheen to it. It's more of a highlighter, but it's before highlighters really became popular on the market. You can tell it's so subtle, and that's why I liked it so much, is because it was like the perfect nude for me. Actually, I use this a lot for blushes like this where it's way over pigmented. I would just kind of blend it down with something like this so that it wasn't so harsh, but it had still enough powder and sheen and pretty without it being white. Using something that has a little bit more of a nude tone to it helps blend things down better than, let's say, a stark white, which would just make you look ashy. So that's why I kept that, and I still use it. I just don't use it as much as I did back in the day, but it is a great product for that. I know, guys, sorry, this is a long video. I hope you guys have popcorn or a snack or something. Next up is this Ofra palette from Madison Miller. This is a mix of blushes and I think some highlighters, but they're really dark. Those are not highlighters to me. They are blushes because they are so dark. I haven't used the blush in this one, to be honest, and I just swatched it for the very first time. Yeah, these are definitely meant to be highlighters, but I will use them more as blush toppers because it packs some pigment to them. I really like this blush tone. I like that nude tone that it has. So I need to use this more. I haven't really used it that much. I've used the highlighters as blush toppers, but other than that, I haven't really reached for it, but I really do enjoy Ofra's formula. Moving along, this is another face palette. I used this today for the bronzer and highlighter. This is something I recently picked up at Target like a couple of weeks ago for $10 because I hadn't tried the butter bronzer before, and I've heard so many wonderful things about it, and I thought, why not try it with their blush and highlighter as well. This so far I really like. I don't know that it's my favorite bronzer, but it's up there as a decent bronzer. I think the tone is nice and it looks decent on me as long as I, you know, apply it before everything else. I'm making a reference to the last video I uploaded where I just kind of had one of those you know, one of those days where makeup doesn't quite go the way you want it to kind of day. This was one of those products where I was like, oops, I did that in the wrong order. Ooh. Anyway, I do really like this. Stay open, please. I really do like this set. I already talked about this product in the bronzer video, and I actually repurposed this bronzer to be a blush. It's this kind of orangey shade from Stila, and it's called shade number 1. It's sun bronzer. It's such an orangey tone that I just can't justify wearing that as a bronzer. It's just too orange for me. However, I think for a blush it would be a nice shade, so that's why I have repurposed that to the blush drawer. And I love that formula. It's super creamy and soft. Going back to Physicians Formula, there is this thing here, this compact thingamabob. I think I got this in like a gift set. I don't know. This wasn't something that really wowed me. I think it was because, look at that, it's super light. It's pretty, but I don't know. I mean, it's like one of those barely there blushes, which is not a bad thing, but it's just kind of one of those shades. And I think the reason I didn't really wear this is just because it was just a funky pink. I don't know. I'm gonna have to try this again because it's been a while since I've used it. So it's something I'm gonna put in the try pile because Lord knows I need to find some way to use this or get rid of it. So I need to try it first. This is a ride or die classic. If you don't have this and you've been around for a while, then I don't know what you're doing with your life. Recognize it? Recognize it? Does this help? Does that help? Because the name. I don't know why NARS has to be so dirty-minded with its names, but it is such a beautiful blush. Yes, I still use this. Yes, I love it. It's a beautiful peachy pink with gold in it. It's just a universally beautiful sheen, shiny kind of blush. It gives you life. It just has that beautiful flush tone. And it has its name for a reason. Yeah. This is probably one of my newer blushes, and it's from Makeupry Beauty. I think she's a beauty influencer, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't heard of her before, but this blush I recently got, and so far I used it one time, I think, and I liked it. Sorry, I'm actually just flipping myself off. That's a lovely notion. I like how this has just this really nice sheen to it, and it's a pretty natural toned blush. I mean, it's deep, but it's natural kind of pink tone for me, and it blends nicely, so I am going to continue to use this. I definitely want to get more use out of this and use it more because I did enjoy it the one time I used it. So yeah, alright, next is this interesting thing. This is from Coastal Scents. This is some sort of blush sampler that I got. I used this a couple of times. I don't remember why I never really reached for it. But, I mean, they're pretty colors. They're kind of your standard pink and kind of a neutral, nudie kind of color. I mean, because it's such an awkward, like, little thing and they're strips, it's probably why I never really used them. I don't know that I'm actually going to use these. So I'm going to declutter this. It's just not something I grabbed for. It's really old. It's really, really old. Another item, it's old, but it's still a goodie, is this NYX blush, and this one is called Cinnamon. I don't know that I necessarily think of cinnamon when I look at this. I think of it more of like tango, wango tango, mango something or other, because look at that. I used to use this quite often. It is a really nice but bold in your face mango color. It is very lovely. I like it. How much more do I have to go? Next is this MAC blush. I think this is also discontinued. I used this today as a blush topper. It has kind of a pinky silver tone to it, and it's called Just a Wisp, and it's a mineralized blush. Isn't that lovely? It's definitely got this pearl shimmer to it. Look at that. Definitely not a blush on its own. It packs a serious kapow punch. It is so beautiful though. It takes on a life of its own. Like if I use it as a blush topper, it takes on the life of the blush I'm wearing underneath it. And it's just one of those blushes that I just love. It is one of my favorites. And the formula is just really soft. It's like a baked blush, which I think looks flattering on so many people. Even though it packs a serious punch on the finger, it has a nice sheen to it, but it's not going to, you know, glow so much that that's all you see. If you have textured skin, I don't think it's going to draw too much attention to those textures. This one has more of that pearlescent shimmer to it, which I think makes a serious difference in how it looks on your skin. But it's one of those formulas, it's one of those ride or die formulas that I absolutely love, so one of my favorites right there. Next is this Maybelline Mineral Powder in True Peach 2. I don't think they make these anymore. Actually, I'm pretty sure that they don't. But this was another favorite blush of mine for a while when I was still really into pigments. My arm is kind of like stained pink here. Look at that. This is such a lovely shade. I like that it is in a pigment form because you can be as subtle or as pigmented as you want. Excuse the pun. I remember really enjoying this, and it's been buried in that drawer, so I need to use it more, but I do like mineral blushes. I think they look really nice on the skin. I think people get scared of pigments because they look messy and scary, but they don't have to be. I remember buying that thinking, ooh, I'm gonna be daring, I'm gonna be crazy bold. And it's really not that crazy or bold. It's like very subtle. So next are these three things from Pixi. This one is still brand new. It's in shrink wrap still, and this one is called Peach Parfait. I don't know why they call that a peach because it's more of a pink tone to me unless there's an overspray on it that I can't see. I haven't used this. I don't know if I will. to be honest. It looks like something I already have because it's a very pink tone and it's definitely not a matte blush. It's more of a shimmer. I'm going to keep this for now and just see if I ever reach for it. If not, I think I'll just give it away and kind of go from there. Next is this one, which is called Beach Rose. This one I do like. I haven't used this in a while, but this one I do like because it's just a nice flush tone. It kind of looks like a bronzer, but it's got enough peach to it that I can pull it off more as a blush. So I like this one. I haven't used this in a while, but it's something that I do enjoy. It's a very soft formula and I feel like it blends out nicely and you can build up the color on it too. It's something that I think is more of a summer tone for me, but going into fall I can see this being kind of a nice transitional blush. Alright, last but not least is this Duo Rose Gold. I've definitely used this highlighter a lot more than the blush side, and I think the reason why is because this blush is just a little too ashy for me. It's rosy, but it just doesn't really, I don't know. I think it brings out too much yellow in my skin tone, which is why I didn't like it. But the highlighter is something that I really liked. Because even though, like, that looks really crazy, but honestly, I don't apply it like this. But it's such a beautiful, like, moonbeam kind of gold. And you can sheer it out. Look at that right here. It's such a beautiful highlighter, but because it's that blush combo, I actually sometimes swirl the two colors together and it gives it a little bit more of a peachy pink tone with the gold shimmer, so I like it for that. I definitely need to use this more because I haven't reached for this in a while, but I really enjoy this formula just like the other one that I like from Pixi. This one's an interesting one. This is from Sleek and I've talked about this before twice. This is a very orange toned blush palette. Yeah. This is definitely something that I don't reach for very often, and I don't know what provoked them to do colors like this. These two, okay, but that bright orangey shade, this one here is just a really funky color. It's definitely not something I would probably ever wear on my cheeks because I have a yellow tone to my skin. It's really pretty as like an eyeshadow. See, the orange one is just kind of funky. It pulls off a little bit more yellow. It's like macaroni and cheese, you know, that Crayola crayon color called macaroni and cheese. That is like the perfect description for this. They're really nice in texture and they blend out nicely. I just don't know what I would ever use this for. Lauren Made Beauty did a video where she was talking about draping with a yellow toned blush and it looked decent on her, and she has more of a pinky skin tone than me. I just don't, I mean, I'm adventurous with my makeup, but I don't think I'm like this kind of adventurous. Although I do like the other two blushes that are in here. I haven't reached for it at least since I last did that video, which was like a month or two ago. I think I'm going to try to do a project pan with at least the two in here. Alright, these ones I already know I'm decluttering. They've just been in here way too long. These don't even have names anymore. I mean, there's no point in keeping them. I've hit pan on them. They're broken. They're just, there's no need for them. I'm just decluttering those. There's no need to even go into them. This one is also from the same brand. It's called Color Workshop. They're like the cheapest makeup bundles that you can get at Walmart during the holiday season. Someone bought this for me. And this blush is actually not too bad. It's another one of those more natural pinky tone blushes. I just haven't reached for this. So I'm also going to declutter that one. I don't reach for it. It's so old at this point and I never will reach for it. This is another odd product and I think it's time to say goodbye to this. This is the Avon 3-in-1 All Over Face Pencil in Pink Rose. This was kind of cool. This was also a gift. It's almost like a lavender shade there. It's pretty, but it's not something I would ever really find myself wearing because it's like a duochrome because it reflects kind of this golden color almost. It's old. It needs to go in the trash. So I'm saying goodbye to that. Even though it's pretty, it's just not something I would ever reach for because I'm just not into creamed sticks. I need it to be easy to apply and that's just not. Moving along, this one is an e.l.f. Baked Highlighter and Blush Duo. I put this in the blush drawer because, I don't know. It is a lovely highlighter duo. It's a baked combo, so it definitely has more of a dry texture, and I like that in a highlighter specifically because it's harder to go overboard on that. Like, you can stay subtle and just have this really nice pearlescent sheen, which is, you know, my favorite kind of highlighters, this pearlescent, slightly reflective, glow from within highlight. I think I should put this in the highlight drawer because that pink is not very pigmented. We're almost through this. Alright, the next up is this NYX Mosaic powder called Dare. I wear this all the time. I use this instead of blush and bronzer. If I want an effortless makeup application, I will just pop this on the cheeks. It's got bronzer and blush and a little bit of shimmer in it as well. I've used this so many times in different videos that I don't really feel like I should have to swatch this for you, but I will just in case you're new here. But it has just this lovely coral peachy tone to it, but it also has a little bit more of this golden kind of natural nude shade to it as well. This is probably my favorite NYX product ever. Alright, next up is this Galactic Skin Glow in Sunset. This one is like a gel to powder finish. I haven't determined if this is supposed to be a blush or a highlighter. It's kind of a unique product. This is new to me. I just got this in the last couple of months or so. It is really nice. It definitely isn't highlighter worthy for me because these are too dark. They actually swatch very similarly on the skin too, which is weird. This one is slightly more gold and peachy. This one is a little bit more muted, almost slightly mauve and more cool toned. They're very lovely. They obviously have a nice shine to them. They're definitely not light enough for me to use as a highlight. I think that's why I put them in the blush drawer. I just haven't really used them for anything. It's one of those products that because it's a unique consistency, I need to play around with it more before I develop an opinion. So I need to like put that aside as well and say, I'm going to be intentional about using this one too. Alright, we're getting through it. I promise we're almost there. There is this LA Colors 3D Blush Contour Set. Comes with contour and like a highlighter, which is interesting, and a blush. I put this one in with the blushes. I don't know why. It's just one of those random face palettes. I like it in theory, but I don't recall really liking this blush as much. And it's got sparkle to it, that's why. It's got this sparkly glitter to it, which is why I didn't really care for it. It's got like this white or silver tiny particles of glitter in it. So, it's not my favorite. I don't like glitter particles in my blushes or actually in any of my face products. The contour and highlight shades though I did really like. This highlighty shade is really nice, and this bronzer contour shade is also really nice. They have a bit of pigment to them without being too pigmented, and this is kind of one of those bargain finds for me. I think I got this at my local Bartell's, which is like a CVS here in the Pacific Northwest. So I think what I might do is depot these two and put them into a separate palette and maybe just get rid of the blush because I'm never going to use that blush. Next up are these My Couture St. Bart's Highlighter Papier. This is an innovative yet odd product. So you get these little sheets, and this is definitely not a highlighter color for me. It's way too dark for that, so this is more of a blush. How it works is you take this little sheet and you press it onto your face, and it deposits the color and the pigment to your cheeks, and then you can just buff it out with a brush and it leaves this nice sheen. Honestly, I haven't used this. And I think it was also buried is why. It's something that would be nice if you're traveling and it doesn't take up much real estate compared to, let's say, a blush like this. I'm going to give it another whirl because it's been so long and just kind of see where it goes. And since it's so small and it doesn't take up much real estate, I'm not as worried about it. I'm not sure why this was in my drawer. This is MAC's Blush in Sketch. This one is a single pan. This needs to go into my palette for my kit. That's why I bought it. It is a kit product, so it's weird that it's in here. This one is also in a sleeve, and this one's going to go in a palette as well, but this one's not mine. This one's also for my kit. This one is called Mocha. This one I like too. This one's just a nice neutral flesh tone color. I don't know why I have that in my personal makeup collection because I have not used it on myself. Last but not maybe least, I don't know, are these Clean Color blushes. They're mineral blushes that I got at Daiso. These were also featured in that video, so if you're interested, go check it out. I have not used these at all. I think what I might do is depot them and put them in something like this with a little sifter, because honestly that's so much product that I probably will not ever get through, and I see me using these more for eyeshadows. This one is such a bright pink shade and it's really pretty and it blends out nicely, but it is so bright that I'm not sure. I think that's why I haven't grabbed for it. Plus, it's really messy. The packaging on this is not very good. The sifter doesn't really prevent it from, you know, spilling out everywhere. And then this one is very purple, very orchid. It's lovely. For me, no. I wanted to try it though. I think I'm going to just put this in the depot pile, put it in something like this, and move that to an eyeshadow drawer. Oh, and the final blush thing, I forgot to pull this out because I have it in my drawer here because I love it so much. This is my new favorite. It is the Island Time palette from Ofra. It features 4 blushes and a highlighter in the middle. So we've got Mai Tai, Punch, Bali the highlighter, Cosmo, and Bellini. This is the best formula. I just absolutely adore these blushes. I love playing like a little mad chemist with these shades because I can mix and match them and they blend together so nicely. And the highlighter is, you know, it's deep and really bold. Like, look at that. I mean, it's an Ofra highlighter, so of course it's going to be super, you know, reflective. But even then I can sheer that out and it looks so pretty with any of these blushes. So hands down, hands down, I don't know why I'm speaking like that. It is definitely my favorite blush palette, maybe of all time. That's it, my friends. Oh my goodness. Here's what's left. This is what I'm keeping, so which is most of it. I'm decluttering a handful of things, which I feel good about, but now that I've gone through these and I've seen what my collection is and I know what I like and haven't tried and what I dislike, it makes me feel a little bit more confident about reaching into my blush drawer and being able to pull things out. And now that I've played with them and have seen them, I'm having fun with them again. So you'll be seeing a lot more variation in my blushes coming up. Stay tuned for the next one, which will be highlighters. And that one's probably going to be even longer because Lord knows this girl is a lot of highlighters. So anyway, I hope you all found this video enjoyable, entertaining, helpful, useful, all of the above, any of the above. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are there any blushes here that you use that you absolutely love? Not that I need any more blushes, but if there are any other brands that you think I should try out, let me know. I'm always willing to try out a new blush. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay healthy and stay happy, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Stay electric as always. Mwah. Bye!